Ending at Holcomb Field in Columbia, Tennessee, and tuning in on YouTube and joining us to celebrate an incredible season of athletic excellence. Let's meet the two teams participating in tonight's final contest of 2023. They finished the season as the number one seed in the South with a 5-5 overall record. From Huntsville, Alabama, give it up for tonight's defending Southeastern Extreme Conference champions, the Freedom Cowboys. At this time,
Lord, we thank you for a beautiful day to watch this football game. We ask for the safety of the players. Thank you for the safe travels you gave each of our teams to be here today. Whatever happens today, let me.
we ask you continue to stand and remove your caps to honor the United States and those who support our freedom at home and abroad with the playing of our national anthem. On this first Saturday of November, we are in Columbia, Tennessee at Holcomb Field. The second year of its inception, the Southeastern Extreme Conference hosts another championship. The number one seed this year in the Tennessee Heat set to collide with the number one seed Tennessee Heat number one seed in the North colliding with the number one seed in the South, the Freedom Cowboys, to determine who is the 2023 champion and, in some cases, to determine who might be going down to Panama City Beach next week. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Eli Cornett. Proud to be with you in Columbia, Tennessee. You know, Eli, we've seen both of these teams throughout the year. A lot of rival matches. This is a rematch of last year we were on call for the SEEC championship, and there's a big difference. There's a big interesting difference between this year. It's very much flipped the script. The Freedom Cowboys were up last year, had a really good season and showing to head down to Panama City for the tournament, losing several of their starters, having to train their starting quarterback, essentially had to be quarterback during the season, and the Tennessee Heat firing on all cylinders, it seems, especially with only one loss on the year coming from the Lighthouse Homeschool Warriors.
Yeah, it's definitely different two teams from last year. The Heat, obviously, they went out and got more guys, bigger guys, more guys with speed. Totally, it's the same two teams as last year, but totally different matchup than last year as well. Really hoping for a great game today here, Spence.
And again, their matchup in the regular season, it was very much one-sided. The Tennessee Heat 46-14 over the Cowboys and winning that yearly tradition of the Independence Bowl that started back in 2020. And Looking like the clock needs to be adjusted here. Whoever's operating the scoreboard, they've got it at 3:33 on the game clock.
Well, just like you were saying, Spence, this is the same two teams from last year, and it almost feels like the Heat has been preparing to come right back to this moment, working all year, all offseason to get back right here. So hopefully they can come out on top today.
Looks like we've got the clock issues adjusted. The Freedom Cowboys will start off kicking off the ball. I believe it was the Tennessee Heat that deferred their choice to the second half. And away we go in the Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship, and we will have a return. This goes up to about the 31-yard line, and looked like that return was by Luke Luchtefeld, and we will see the Heat offense for the first time today, led by a slew of different people. Coach Scott pregame told us that essentially they're kind of starting quarterback in a sense with Luke Matthews. He won the SEEC All-Conference quarterback, but Coach Scott was telling us that with Luke Matthews, he's more the quarterback that's going to be a transporter in a sense, and handing the ball off to other people, getting the ball to other players, and we'll see what he does starting off the day on the first down. And they'll hand it off to the right side. Gain of a couple of yards, and this carry by Levi Ashburn, the sophomore. That's what Coach was telling us beforehand, is that for Matthews, he could be a good quarterback. Our focus is to make sure everybody else is getting involved.
Yeah, you're going to see Matthews. With Coach Scott, Matthews likes getting the ball out of Matthews' hands. You're going to see a lot of quick screens today. And also, he's going to hand the ball off to arguably one of their best players, White Sutton, today. So expect a lot of screens, a lot of quick passes, a lot of jet sweeps like you just saw there.
Wyatt Sutton as well honored as all-conference running back this season, and a lob in the backfield. And tackle for loss. Not much going there for the 30-yard line, and that carry this time by Wyatt Sutton.
Just a quick toss right there to Wyatt Sutton. Great job by the Freedom defense flying up and getting to the ball, and that's what Freedom's going to have to do. The Heat have a lot of speed on the edges of the field, so the Freedom defense has got to rally today and make those tackles, make those stops to keep them in a ball game today. And Coach Scott's not scared of throwing the deep ball here, so expect maybe a quick slant here to try to get up the field, get the first down. We're here for looks like a 3rd and long here. You see that motion right there? It's probably going to be a screen to the running back.
The 3rd and 13, and it is a quick screen, but no gain on the play, and a 4th and out. Not the start that the Tennessee Heat wanted. Looked like that was a carry by 60 Zach Wogan, the junior. And brings it up for, looks like it'll be a punt away.
Yeah, that's a great start for the Freedom defense. That's what they got to do. They got to rally to the football. They got to make those stops. They got to make those plays, because what you don't want to do is get these guys loose. You don't want to miss tackles. You really need to work on your form, the form tackling you've been working on all year, and Freedom just put that on great display right there.
Beg your pardon, I believe it was actually Graham Russell, the sophomore, with the catch and trying to get forward. Regardless, results in a 4th and out to start off early. Almost blocked there. Almost a blocked punt by Bram Day, the senior. And this punt will just go out of bounds. And we'll see the Freedom Cowboys go to work. And they've certainly had their struggles on offense this year. Not much of them being able to get the ball going. We talked about the situation with their starting quarterback. But, of course, there's still some bright spots to look at with this Freedom Cowboys team on the offensive side, especially when you look at they have players with several hundred rushing yards. You know, Jalen Venter, 601 on the season. He's been incredible from the backfield. But that's the challenge too, is they're a very rush-heavy team, which has seemed to be the trend for the Freedom Cowboys over the decades.
Oh yeah, it's been a trend for the past 10 years, and with this offense, you're gonna get a lot of dose of number 9, like the Heat saw last year with Oliver Johnson. So you're gonna get a heavy dose of number 9. You're gonna get a lot of misdirection. They don't pass the ball much, but if they do, it's little quick slants, quick screens. So you're going to get a lot of run here today. So the Heat defense has really got to ultimately, the game's going to be one of the trenches today, Spence. The O-line and D-line for both teams has got to really got to work today.
Logan Breyer's on the carry there for a couple of yards, and looks like some movement there. We'll get a false start. Mike Walker is our referee.
Snap. Start. On the
Cowboys.
5-yard penalty. Still second half.
It's also got low battery is the problem. It says low. Yep. So false start to move it back 5 yards for a 2nd and 11. And instead of going off to Breyers, they have Venter keep it and getting a couple, actually a decent gain there to make it a short on a 2nd and 2. Venter, the junior, himself on rushing again, leads the Freedom Cowboys with 601 yards, and that's pretty standard. Anytime he gets the ball, it's pretty much averaging out to a carry of almost 10 yards. Anytime you keep it to him, he's going to get you a first down.
Yeah, Freedom usually has that one guy. I mean, last year they had those 3 guys, number 18, and Oliver Johnson. But, yeah, you're going to get a heavy dose of number 9. That's what we want to do, get Venter speed on the edge, hopefully pick up yards and a first down.
And they'll keep it again to Venter. He will pick up the first down here on keeper up the middle. Gets it inside the 25.
Yeah, great job right there. Just a quick QB power right there for the Freedom offense. And that's what you got to do. You got to pick up the chunk yards. You got to pick up the short yards to eventually get down to the red zone here. And it looks like we got a timeout here.
Timeout.
Time is out on the field.
Tennessee Heat.
Tennessee Heat called their first time out of the half with 8:02 left to go in the first quarter of the 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship. About 8:05 left to go in the first quarter. Tennessee Heat have a chance to think it over, but burning a timeout early as Logan Breyers gets up to about the 20-yard line. Took a slew of Heat defenders to bring him down, which is not very much a surprise. Whenever he carries the ball, he's got about 5.5 yards every time.
Yeah, Logan Breyers, he had to fill in at quarterback for the start of the year, I believe. So, yeah, Logan Breyers is used to having the ball in his hands. He's a really good athlete. He's really good at making guys miss. He's kind of an all-around back that you want. He's got speed. He's got power. So really a 1-2 punch here with Venter and Breyers here for the Freedom Cowboys. You see him here split out. Looks like they're going to do some sort of jet sweep keep.
And Breyers again, immediately brought down by Eli Whitaker, who on the season has 58 total tackles, 44 on his own. Add another one to that list.
Yeah, Eli Whitaker is a great athlete on the defensive side of the ball. He's really a guy that's got a really good nose for the football. There at the linebacker spot, he's a really good athlete. That's kind of a matchup I was looking forward to see today. Venter against Whitaker and also Breyers against Whitaker. Another great matchup we got to look for throughout the game today.
And Whitaker has been a part of this Tennessee Heat system for several years. Been trained under the Ryan Scott system. He's been built up and has been a great contributor over that time as Bram Day tries to take it up the middle, a couple of yards gain here, brings up a 4th down.
That was a good job by Freedom, picking up a couple yards, set themselves up in a 4th and manageable. I would expect the Freedom Cowboys to go for it here. You're inside the 20. Even if you don't get the first down, you still set the Heat offense up in the it looks like we got a timeout here.
Timeout. Freedom Cowboys.
Freedom Cowboys will take their first timeout of the half with 6:15 left to go here in the first quarter. And you were talking about it, where there's the challenges they have. It looks like the Freedom Cowboys are using kind of the same strategy, just handing off the ball. You haven't yet seen a pass play from them, and it speaks to the struggles they've had in the passing game.
Yeah, they've had a few struggles, but when you have Venter and you have Briars that can really pound the rock for you there, you really don't have to pass the ball. So that's their bread and butter, running the ball. They like to do a lot of misdirection, a lot of counters, a lot of jet sweeps. And you've kind of seen it all in this drive. So what you've seen in this first drive is usually what you're going to get throughout the whole game, and actually every game that Freedom has had this year. So I would expect something along the lines, maybe a counter misdirection, but I would expect the ball to be go into Venter or Briar's hands here.
On a fourth down, they do go for it, and they get the pass off, and it's a 1st and goal. The reception made by Henry Cooper, the senior, and between Briars and Venter, they've shared the passing responsibilities. Hasn't been amazing on the season, but a good catch and completion there.
Yeah, that was great by Venter right there, just getting the ball, getting the snap, getting the ball quickly out of his hands. That's what he's got to do. I mean, if you haven't played quarterback, you just have to get the ball out of your hands pretty quickly. So great job there by Venter picking up the 1st down. Looks like they're here at about the 7-yard line here.
From the 7, Freedom Cowboys, after getting a defensive stop, managed to march it down about 40 yards, and going up the middle to the 4-yard line is Venter, the junior, bringing it forward. And, last night, myself and Blake Biggs were on call for the CFA championship, and Russell Christian had this same sort of offense that we're seeing here from Freedom, where they're just continually running it up the center, and eventually the defensive line is going to get worn out.
Yeah, essentially they're going to get a stop, and I mean it pretty much goes both ways. And like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, Spencer, it's one at the line. Looks like we got a touchdown here.
Venter up the middle for the first points in this year's SEEC Conference Championship. Goes to the junior Jalen Venter.
That was just a great play right there. Looks like a QB counter right there. You saw the jet sweep coming. You saw the heat, the outside heat defensive end. A bit on the jet sweep, just a straight keep. Good job by the Freedom Cowboys there.
And especially in a game that was dominated by the Tennessee Heat earlier in the regular season, any points that the Cowboys can get going through the game will be crucial. Only scoring 14 the last time. Looked like attempting a pass, and he'll pass it high up top, incomplete. Looked like it was intended in the area of Eli Carr, but no 2-point conversion there. 5:05 left to go in the first quarter as the Freedom Cowboys strike first. Freedom Cowboys strike first here in Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship game of 2023. Collision between the number 13 and number 6 best seeds in the country. And this will head back into the end zone for a touchback. Tennessee Heat going 4th and out on that first drive, trying to get something going here.
Yeah, they just got to get the ball into White Sutton's hands here. Got to pick up some chunk yards here. You're going to be set up here at the 20. So you just got to respond to that Freedom score right there. Just kind of got the Tennessee Heat defense kind of got hit in the mouth with a bunch of big handful of Briars and Venter there. So the Heat's got to come up with something here. You see the Heat going into the stack formation right here. Watch this running back. He's probably going to motion out. They're going to come across right here.
And they will do just that as it heads up to about the 27-yard line. Good carry on the play. Looks like White and Sutton.
Yeah, both of these offenses like to use a lot of misdirection with the motion. The motion usually can draw a defense off pretty quickly. So the defenses today just have to stay sound, look for that motion, because usually that motion is just trying to draw you off.
Wyatt Sutton on the year, 84 carries for 619 yards. Anytime he rushes the ball, it's about 7.5 yards gained. And he's got 14 rushing touchdowns to show for that as well. See how he becomes a factor going through the rest of the afternoon.
Look at this motion right here. We're looking for probably a keeper right here.
That was motion by Ashburn, but up the middle is going to be another first down. And it was an easy keeper by Luke Matthews.
Yeah, great play right there. Just quick QB keeper there by Matthews, picking up the yards. And we've talked about Matthews being a transporter, but he's also really good with his legs. So look for a lot of QB keepers, a lot of read options, a lot of zone reads. Matthews can spin it, but he's also good with his legs.
Carried it 47 times on the year, 176 yards. Pretty much any time he gets the ball, he's gaining you about half of that line to gain for the Sticks. And here's a lob. It's a flea flicker, actually, is tossing it out and incomplete. Looked like his arm was hit as the pass went off. Eli Whitaker trying to toss it up. Would have been fantastic if he didn't have the coverage on him.
Yeah, that was a obvious pass. You had a receiver streaking down the field, pretty much wide open. But great play by the Freedom defense. They weren't fooled by that. Great play design by Coach Scott. I would expect them to go back to that. So the Freedom defense got to be ready for that to come back.
Brings up a 2nd and 10. And keeper again up the middle. You're seeing a lot of these rushes up the middle as it gains for about 3 or 4 yards. The Freedom defensive line is immediately seeing it and not really allowing it much to happen.
Yeah, both of these lines on both teams are really good. The Freedom defensive line has been really good all year. They've been really good at a job at stuffing the run. Especially the defensive line's got to be big today to stuff Matthews and Sutton. Looks like we got a stoppage here.
Looks like the officials will confer on this.
Yeah, I believe that the down marker said 4th, but I believe it's only 3rd down. Looks like we got a third and long here, so I expect a pass right here, Spencer.
3rd and 7. And they will toss it up, airing it out on the right side on a little bit of a shove off, incomplete. It was intended for Sam Hill. Not enough to warrant offensive pass interference on that, even if he had caught it, but a little bit of a shove off, incomplete.
A little bit of a shove, but they were both hand fighting. The refs are not going to call that when you got two guys fighting for the ball. They're just going to let them play that one out. Great defense there by the Freedom Cowboys, and great effort by the receiver. Just could not connect on that pass.
And it looks like they will opt to punt it on their own 36-yard line. Seen sometimes Coach Scott likes to be a little risque and go for it when he's closer to midfield, but
he has shown fake punts in the past this year.
No fake punt on this time around, and this is going to bounce out of bounds around the 40-yard line. And we'll see the Freedom Cowboys offense get back to work in prime position to try and go up 2 scores. It was around this distance of the field where the last punt went to, able to march it down quite easily.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're the Heat, that's not what you want. You don't want to punt there. You want to try to get it into the end zone. You really don't want the Freedom offense to get the ball, go up by 2 scores, because once the Freedom offense gets rolling, it gets rolling. Just ask every opponent they played all year. So the Tennessee Heat defense has got to come up with a 3-and-out right here to hopefully get the ball back and get the ball in the end zone.
Starting from their own 40-yard line. And fake again, there goes who else but Jalen Venter. Be tripped up for only a gain of about a yard.
Yeah, that was just a straight QB counter right there. Looks like one of the Heat offensive linemen fell down, and if that guy hadn't fallen down, I believe Venter would have been. He may not take it to the house, but he probably would have picked up first down.
Only 6 points on the board thus far. From a drive that went about 60 yards for the Freedom Cowboys. Handed.
Briars.
Yeah, they give it back to Briars again as he goes to the left. He'll be tripped up out of bounds at about the 46-yard line.
Good play there, but if you're Bryce right there, you had the cutback right there. You should have taken that cutback, get more yards. You never really gain anything bouncing it outside like that. You're going to get caught. The Heat has too much speed on the outside. You should have cut it up. You probably would have gotten the first down, and now you're out at 3rd and 5. So if I'm the Heat, I would if I'm Freedom, I would give the ball right back to Briars or Venter. But you never know. We saw a pass on 3rd down earlier, so you may see another one right here, Spence.
3rd and 5. Keeper up the middle. Venter again. Jalen Venter is going to get a first down. A little bit more. Jalen Venter gets past the man to beat. He beat Wyatt Sutton, and another 6 points on the board for the Freedom Cowboys.
And that's what Jalen Venter has done all year. He can, once he gets through the line, he gets to that second level, he can make a man miss, and that's a house call every time. So great job by Jalen Venter right there. If you're the Heat defense, you got to make a stand next drive. If you're the Heat offense, you got to punch the ball in. You got to get a score. Because you don't need to be down by 3 scores or 4 going into halftime. You got to get the ball in the end zone here. But great job by the Freedom offense right there, getting the ball in the end zone. Pretty up by 2 scores.
Unsuccessful on the first 2-point conversion attempt. We got a false start.
False start. Offense number 2. Try.
And it's looking to me, Spence, whenever they go for a 2-point conversion, they have number 18 in the game at quarterback. Different look than they've shown.
That's the senior Zane Gray they trust to the quarterback position, trying to toss it over. Wide open on the left side. 2-point conversion is good. Noah Wright, the junior, with the catch.
Great play there. Just a simple corner route there by the tight end right there. Great play design. Great job by the Freedom offense to put them up 12-0 over the Tennessee Heat. Or it should be 14, shouldn't it?
Looks like they'll update it probably in a minute. There we go. 14-0. Freedom leads over the Tennessee Heat. You know, the saying goes, I didn't expect this on my bingo card. Sure that this start here was not expected by the Heat fan base or most of the other people around the 8-man football world. Maybe a chance to spark some life. There's a flag that's thrown at about the 35-yard line, but a good return, and we'll check the flag.
Yeah, it looks like a blindside block right there.
Mike Walker, our referee, on hand today.
Burn. Our team. 10-yard penalty from the. It's 1st and 10, Tennessee Heat.
Still the Tennessee Heat's ball on that. They, of course, move it back.
And that's not what you want if you're the Tennessee Heat. You're now, I believe the ball's at the 15-yard line. You don't want that. You got to punch the ball in here. Freedom defense come up strong. Let's see if Matthews in the offense can come up with something here. Heat going with the doubles. Look, double stack formation here.
1st and 10 from their own 15, and it gets the better of the defense for a couple of yards to get up to about the 17 for a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, they just motioned the running back out there. A double stack formation, kind of an empty look right there. Just with a QB draw, and that's something Coach Scott's been running for pretty much for the past decade. Just a simple hit play right there. Great job by the Freedom defense clogging that up.
Time winding down in this first quarter. And already the Freedom Cowboys taking a 2-possession lead. They'll fake it, looking for the pass deep across the middle, incomplete. Overthrown on the hands intended for, looked like it was Russell who was the intended target.
I believe so. Just a quick play action pass there. Just couldn't connect on that. All right, here we go. Third and medium here for the Tennessee Heat offense. See if they can pick this up. I would expect another shot here by Matthews. See if he can connect right here. Going back with that stacked look.
With that stacked look going to the right side, not going anywhere.
See, I don't understand that call. It's third and medium. You're inside your own 20. I would have passed the ball right there. Now you're going to be punting, setting Freedom up for a good field position right here. I don't really understand that call here.
Yeah, Cooper and Day, the joint tacklers on that.
I mean,
Both of them team leaders on tackles in the year.
You got to think. You got to pass the ball to get the ball downfield. You have not crossed the 50 yet. You haven't gotten into enemy's territory. So you just gotta convert on those plays. You got to convert on those third downs. Right now, I believe the Heat are 0-3 on third downs. Well, that was almost blocked.
May have gotten one third down conversion early on, and this will be amazing field advantage for the Freedom Cowboys. This is where the Tennessee Heat's defense really needs a stop.
They need to stop. They need it bad because Freedom's been driving the ball downfield. It's been on the ground. The Tennessee Heat defense has been great all year. Can't seem to stop Briars and Venture, so they really got to get a stop here. And they really got – the Tennessee Heat offense has got to get the ball downfield. They got to get the ball downfield because your punt game is not helping you out. You're setting the Freedom offense on your side of the field. You don't want that because Venture and Briars have shown that they can get the ball down to the end zone. So you got to get a stop here. You got to convert those third downs for the Tennessee Heat. You got to convert. So let's see what Venture and the boys can do right here.
Again, graded field advantage with that shanked punt. 25-yard line. Chance for the Cowboys to do some damage and take a stranglehold of the game as this carry. How about a little bit of a leap there from Jalen Venter?
Yeah, it was just orbit motion right there. Looked like could have been an option play right there. Looks like he tried. It was a fake. It was an orbit motion fake toss right there.
That is the end.
Keeper. He went airborne.
1 quarter down in the 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship. 14-0, the Freedom Cowboys marching. Potentially could go up by 3 scores here. Started the second quarter at Holcomb Field in Columbia
Like
as Venter is going to air it out across the middle, incomplete pass intended for Sean O'Neal.
Yeah, just a little bit over the receiver's head right there. But great job by Venter standing in there and delivering the pass. Just a little too high for the receiver right there.
Spencer Tomzett, Eli Cornett bringing you the action here on 8-Man Extreme for the 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship. Holcomb Field at Zion Christian Academy in Columbia, Tennessee. Second year that the conference has been in existence. Second year that the championship has been hosted here in Columbia. And we have about a 3rd and 9 Another carry up the middle of the Heat defense, not allowing anything to go there.
Great stop there by the Tennessee Heat defenses. That's what you got to do. Now you're at third down and long. So the Heat, you got to make a stop here. And obviously, I believe this would be, is it third down or is it fourth down? It's fourth down.
Fourth down.
Okay, so if you're Tennessee Heat defense, you got to make a stop here. I mean, you just have to. You're down by 2 scores here. You got to make a stop. All right, let's see what the Heat defense can do right here, Spence.
4th down and 9 deep in Heat territory. The Cowboys will go for it, especially because they don't have a field goal kicker. And Venter trying to scramble. He's got a few yards to gain. Did he get there? Waiting on the spot.
Look very close. Very close.
Look close on the ruling. Waiting for the
Great job.
signal.
I believe he got there. I believe. Oh, no. They called it short. I thought he got there.
They called it short. Turnover on downs.
That was very close, but great effort there by Venter getting out of the pocket, making a run for it. Great job, great effort there by Venter. All right, Heat, let's see what you got. See if you can get into the end zone. Going with that stack look again.
From the shotgun, quick toss, incomplete, just right in his hands and dropped it.
You got to make those catches. If you're the Heat right there, hit him right in his hands. They went with that stack look again to the right, that right stack right look. See what happens here. Just looked like he was running a stick right there. Just you got to haul those in if you're the Heat receiver right there. Oh, and he knows it too. But great job there. You got to get the rust off. You got to complete those passes. See what the Matthews and the look, they're going back to that stack right look. Expect another pass here.
Another quick screen, right side. 1st down for the Heat.
Great job there, getting the ball in his hands. Just a quick screen, great block by the receiver right there. Just a quick stack look. Let's see if you can see it right here. Yeah, just a great tunnel screen right there. Getting the ball, getting a good chunk of yards. Now you're set up in the third. I believe it's 3rd and 1. So great job there by the Heat, getting a great big chunk of yards right there. Let's see if they can convert on this 3rd down. I believe they haven't converted a 3rd down all afternoon. So let's see if they can get their first one right here.
Makes it a 3rd down and 1. You mentioned it. No 3rd down conversions so far in the game.
Going with that stack left look. I expect a run here. They're going with that motion. Probably a crack block right here.
Matthews hands it off. He got it. 1st down as the Heat continue the drive.
Great look right there. You see that motion. Usually when they come in with that motion with that slot receiver, with that bottom receiver, they usually come with the crack look right there, but it looked like it was just a straight lead play right there. Great job. Great play designed by Coach Scott, picking up that first down of the day. And the Heat moving the ball now, trying to get something going. That's what you got to do. You got to get the rust off. It's a big championship game. It's for all the marbles, so they try to get their rust off. Look like the Heat are looking like their normal selves now.
And the Heat also trying to move up in the NHSA rankings at number 6 right now. A win here certainly seals that. Gives them their first conference championship.
Right,
scramble by Matthews, looking to get outside and gets a gain of about 5 yards. Could have been a sack.
Great effort right there by Matthews, who was supposed to be a bootleg pass right there with the motion. Yes, a quick fake toss bootleg right there, no one over. Great job avoiding that first guy and getting about 3-4 yards right there. Great play by Matthews, getting out of trouble and picking up a few yards right there.
Holding an eligible receiver on the defense, number 2. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
So another lucky break for the Tennessee Heat, as that's a tacked-on penalty.
All right, the Heat moving the ball. Let's see what they got. It looks like they're going to have here another stack to the bottom of your screen right here. Let's see what they're going to do right here.
As they'll just hand it off up the middle and finding a gap. This might be the spark the Heat need. A touchdown-saving tackle by Sterling Hershey. But the big carry there by, it looks like it was maybe Fawbush.
Yeah, great carry there by Fawbush, getting through the line, making that one-man mess, and he was one move away from taking that to the house. Great job by the Heat right there, getting it down to enemy territory.
I beg your pardon, it was Wyatt Sutton on the carry, who's
I mean, who else? Who else could it be?
but the other reason, I say Fabush is because there's just so many players that do different things for the Heat. Matthews with the look, the aired out to the right side, incomplete. Pass intended. There's good coverage there by Eli Carr, and the pass intended have a little bit more distance than we're usually used to on press boxes, but an incomplete pass regardless.
Yeah, it looked like it was supposed to be a hitch and go. He ran that hitch a little too short right there. But great job, great coverage by the Freedom DB right there, not allowing the receiver to make a play on the ball. Now you're starting to see Coach Scott starting to open up the offense a little bit, getting a little bit more creative with his playbook right now. Let's see what Matthews can do right here.
In motion inside the 40, and they will hand this off. A good gap here for Levi Ashburn, weaving through the tacklers, potentially has an open space, not brought down from behind.
Oh,
How
my
many men is he
goodness!
going to avoid? Touchdown, Tennessee Heat.
What a great play there by Levi Ashburn. Getting the jet sweep, cutting it right back. Look at that, making that one-man man's broken tackle, spun out of that tackle, breaking another tackle, breaking that one. You thought he was going to go down right there. Nope, he's not going to do that. Great play, diving for the end zone. Great effort there by Levi Ashburn to pick up the Tennessee Heat's first score. Great effort to play there by Levi Ashburn. Probably the play of the day so far there in this game, Spence. What a great play.
We were talking about earlier, if Freedom had gone down and made that score, they'd be up by 3. It'd be a huge comeback story for the Heat to have, and now a 2-point conversion away. And hold on a second, what formation
We
are
got
they
some
going
Dallas
with here?
Cowboys stuff going on here. What's going on?
Did they get in at least? He died for it. He's no good.
That looked like a little Zeke Elliott action right there, didn't it, Spence?
Again, this was like Sunday Night Football with the Cowboys when they had all those linemen move out to the outside. It's a legal formation technically, but regardless, they do not get the 2-point conversion. 6-14, the Heat only down by 8. A much-needed score for the Tennessee Heat offense. Couldn't get the 2-point conversion. Makes it a 14-6 game as they'll have a little squib kick here, and it's picked up by Sterling Hershey, who had the touchdown-saving tackle earlier on that last drive by the Heat and getting in on special teams. Sterling will stay in as the Cowboys look to respond to that drive by the Tennessee Heat. I believe they went about 60, 65 yards on that drive.
It was at least 60, 65 yards. Great answer there by the Tennessee Heat. Levi Ashburn making a play, an outstanding play for the Heat. Let's see what Freedom can do here. Jalen Venter in the offense. They got to see if they can stretch this lead up to 2 scores. The Heat right on their tails right now, Spence.
That's very much been the case. Venter again, and the Tennessee Heat defense stops him at the 31. And you see the coaches incredibly hyped at that great tackle behind the line for Eli Whitaker.
Yeah, the Tennessee Heat defense snuffed that out real quick. Looked like an orbit motion, looked like a fake toss. Venter going around the edge right there. Freedom Heat defense not fooled, rallying to the football. Great play there by the Tennessee Heat defense, and that's what you want. Levi Ashburn sparked this Tennessee Heat team. We'll see if they can feed off that big play, and maybe can change the momentum of the game. It's already starting to feel like it's starting to shift a little bit. So let's see if the Freedom can stall that momentum created by Levi Ashburn.
Huge loss in the play, maybe be a 2nd and 19. And alone with the toss to the right side, incomplete. Pass intended for LT Solly. as Jalen Venter was alone in the pocket.
Yeah, he just sailed it a little bit right there. You see that motion out to a trips formation. He just sailed the ball right there. Great job standing in the pocket, but he just floated that ball a little bit too high for his receiver to give Sully a chance. All right, we're at a 3rd and long now. Let's see if the Heat can get a stop to potentially tie this game up if they're able to get off the field here.
And the Heat were forced off of the field. Their offense was several times. Heat trying to return that favor. As Venter looks, he'll get the toss off, and it's intercepted! A pick at the 50-yard line, and almost brought down by the Jersey. Took several players to bring down Wyatt Sutton, his first interception of the year.
All right, let's see this real quick. Venter, yeah, let's see what happened here. Looks like he just jumped the ball right there. Great interception there by the Heat. All right, let's see what they can do. See if they can tie this game up. Great job by the Heat getting off the field right there. That's what I needed to get the first turnover of the game. Let's see if Luke Matthews and the offense can feed off of this turnover. The momentum is definitely in favor of the Tennessee Heat. Let's see if they can capitalize on this turnover here.
From the 34 of the Cowboys.
Going with that motion from that stack look.
Continue to do that in essence, and a carry up the middle by Wyatt Sutton. Again, that's a big reason why Wyatt Sutton was a all-conference running back for SEEC, but he has so many plays on both sides of the ball. You had to choose which category to go in, and it just so happens rushing was his best statistical category.
Yeah, his best game, obviously, well, it actually came against us at Franklin Classical. He rushed for about almost 200 yards. He had about 6 total touchdowns on the ground that day. So he's a great running back, great athlete for the conference, and excited to see what he's going to do here today and in the future.
Now to a 2nd and 7, and a carry up the middle, stopped again by the Cowboys defense, and that tackle made by Jalen Venter, another one of those players who, and you have this commonly seen in high school 8-man football because of these smaller programs and smaller schools that don't have as many players. Of course, the main reason of that was why they go to 8-man football, but you see that, and you see guys like Jalen Venter, who's the starting quarterback under center, and he's still making defensive plays and putting his team in prime positions.
Yeah, you usually have 1 or 2 guys like that on every team. We've seen that a lot with the Heat, like Wyatt Sutton, and then Freedom, Jalen Venter. So you're gonna have that dude that you count on, and it just so happens Jalen Venter is that guy for the Freedom Cowboys.
3rd and 5, and it looks like we got some early movement.
Delay of the game, number 8. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And that's a costly penalty right here. Now you're set up at a 3rd and 11. So the Heat obviously probably going to take a shot here. Looks like we got a new, maybe a new quarterback in.
Looks like they do bring in Levi Ashburn, subbed out.
For Wyatt Sutton, he's in at running back.
Brings it back to a 3rd down and 11, completely different situation. They'll have that same motion they like to use, and looks like they'll keep it up the middle. Matthews, and incomplete. Would have been a 1st down had it been recepted there. Just an unfortunate mistake on the outside.
Just right through his hands on that comeback route. That was a beautifully run route there by, who was that receiver again, Spencer? Who was that?
Trying to make sure I get the number right. It looks like Graham Russell.
Yeah, just a great route there by Russell. Just couldn't get the ball completed. All right, looks like the Heat's going for it here at the 35, about a 4th and long. So I expect another pass here.
So now a 4th down and 11. And again, most of the times you'll see him go for it instead of trying to pin him deep. 11 yards to gain to extend the drive. Matthews slips on the turf down at the 45, and that's a big hit. You hope. Looks like he walks back up and he's okay, just shaken up. But big defensive stand for the Freedom Cowboys.
Yeah, but throughout this game, it's been kind of a story of the offenses. But a great stop there by Freedom to get their offense back on the field.
From the 45-yard line is where the Freedom Cowboys will start. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get a shot of it on the cameras, but especially with both of these programs being prominent homeschool organizations, the crowd turnout is incredible. Of course, for the Tennessee Heat, They're based out of Mount Juliet, so not a little bit of hour-and-a-half drive from here. The Freedom Cowboys coming up from Huntsville about that drive as Venter again will head up the middle a couple of yards. And you have good turnout, not just in stadium, but even on air. You know, we were being told by one of the coaches for the Heat that his 83-year-old mother, Linda Kell, is watching from North Carolina. So shout out to her, and the fans are watching this competition all across the world, wherever you are. And especially shout out to the fans for always turning out for both of these organizations.
Yeah, both of these fan bases travel. They do really good traveling, watching their boys play.
As Venter goes up the middle, looks like he's maybe a little bit shy of the yard to gain. They might move it for the first down. They do move the chains, got the first down.
Yeah, and another thing about these two fan bases, they're very passionate about their teams. Even away games, you see them, they come out, they support their teams. And that's one great thing about 8-man football. Yes, it's not 11-man, but 8-man football, everybody seems to be more passionate for their teams. And both these fan bases like to make a lot of noise. So let's see if these fan bases make some noise here today.
Anytime you have a game against the Freedom Cowboys in Evangel, that's one of the more packed venues, as Logan Bryers goes up the middle for no gain. You have Freedom and Evangel because they usually play once or twice a year, especially with Freedom travels well, Evangel travels well, it gets packed there. Tennessee Heat against Evangel, the Heat traveled well in that game all the way down to Alabaster, and you just have, not to focus too much on it, but it does make a big difference, especially in these championship environments, to try and give that sort of energy to the players and coaches.
I watched a Freedom Evangel game a couple years ago, and you could feel the atmosphere watching on your screen, and it almost felt like an 8-man version of the Iron Bowl. That's what it felt like for those two teams.
Venter on the outside again. He'll be stopped for a gain of about 7 yards, which, again, is on trend for his usual average of how many times he carries the ball. And it's not that this Heat defense has any challenges. It's in their own skill. It's just that Venter is on that different level.
He is on that different level. And you've seen guys like Jalen Venter who is just your do-it-all guy. You got guys like Manuel Dang from South Haven a couple years ago. You have guys like Josh Sahlstrom from Franklin Classical a couple years ago. Kind of your do-it-all guys, and Jalen Venter is definitely in that category.
As Venter, there he goes again, Jalen Venter. We were just talking about it. Touchdown, Freedom.
Just a straight QB keeper right there, right up the middle. Great job by Jalen Venter. Let's look at this. Let's take a peek like that. Just a straight QB counter right there, right up the middle. Few broken tackles there by Jalen Venter, and he's just on his own on the way to the end zone. Great play there by Jalen Venter, getting the score and putting Freedom up by 2 scores.
Make that a 14-point lead pending the 2-pointer. So the Freedom Cowboys do respond to the Tennessee Heat as there's a bump off as Zane Gray looking for the pass will finally get it off, but can he get to the line to gain? He'll be ruled short. The catch made there by L.T. Solly. It's a good effort, especially with how much he had to scramble.
Good effort there, but that's a great stop there by the Tennessee Heat defense, not allowing them to get that 2-point conversion because you're only down by 14 points. I believe, let's see, you got 3:51 to go in the half, so you got to get a score here because I believe Freedom gets the ball to start the second half, correct? So you got to score down, and I would try to drain the clock. Drain the clock, take as much time as you need to get down to get the end zone because you don't want to be down by potentially 2 scores heading into the second half. Great. This is a big offensive drive for Coach Scott and his boys of the Tennessee Heat.
Yeah, Blake and I were talking about this in the CFA Championship last night of the idea of clock management and 2-minute drills. And sure, you can give this from your sort of assistant coach's perspective. You don't practice them as much in high school, and you don't practice those audibles from the line as much. And when you've already burned one of your timeouts for the half, that makes it even more challenging.
It's very challenging because, like you said, it's not practiced a lot in practice throughout the week. So you really got to be aware of the clock, be aware of where the ball is, where the first down is, In this situation, you've kind of got a 4-minute situation here, 4-minute drill here for the Tennessee Heat. So you really want to drain that clock. But like you said, Spence, it's not really prepared. But when it happens, you got to be ready to go. You got to be ready to go for that. So I expect the Heat to run the ball here. You're going to get a lot of dose of Ashburn and Sutton here, I believe.
We do have a flag on the backfield.
Free kick out of bounds on the offense. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10.
Wasn't paying as much attention as I should have. Especially the far side of the stripes painted here at Holcomb Field. It couldn't really see that it was out of bounds there. But good field starting position for the Heat in that case, as they'll try to march it down. Matthews is going to air it out, not wasting any time over the top, just a step ahead. The ball was just a step ahead there of the intended target. Not much for Levi Ashburn to do there, but a good idea, I would say.
Yeah, that ball just sailed again. We've seen a lot of overthrows today, and that one right there looked like Matthews threw it off his back foot, and every time a quarterback throws it off your back foot, about 9 times out of 10, it's going to float over your receiver. So you just got to be patient, set your feet, stay in the pocket, and make those throws.
From the 35-yard line again after the incompletion. Matthews is going to keep it himself. Up the middle, trying to push through for the first down. He'll get it.
Great game right there by Matthews. Clock's still running. Looks like we got 3.5 minutes to go here. Let's see where the ball is going to be spotted. Looks like it's going to be spotted right at the 47.
You know, there's also the other side you could look at. If the Heat were to do a sort of quick 2-minute drill here and get it down, you could potentially try to use your defense to stop Freedom and get the ball back with a smidge amount of time. But the bigger challenge on that is Freedom continues to run the ball and you only have 2 timeouts, so there's not much you could do there.
I mean, if the Heat was the score right here, you would probably look at about 2 minutes, minute and a half left, and let's see what they're going to do here.
Lob to the left side, another good carry. About to the first down marker is Wyatt Sutton, and looked like he may be maybe about a yard short, and he will be for a 2nd and 1.
Yeah, just a great toss out the outside, using his great footwork right there by Wyatt Sutton, weaving in and out around the Freedom defenders, picking up a great chunk of yards. Probably a gain of 9 there by Wyatt Sutton. Great job. See what the Heat do here. Clock still running. Looks like we got about 2:22 left. So let's see if the Heat can get the ball in the end zone before time expires here in this first half. As you can hear, the Heat fans making some noise here.
Across midfield on the 2nd and 1.
Bootleg
The
jump.
bootleg with Matthews.
Oh,
Incomplete.
man.
Looked like it could have been an interception by Logan Bryars. If he had caught that and come down, he'd be gone to the end zone.
Yeah, Logan Bryars, look right here on this replay. It's just a fake toss, bootleg pass right here. You got that motion coming. Bootleg right there. Bryars read it like a book. Just knocked that ball down. Great play there by Bryars. Bryars was not fooled on that play. Matthews lucky that was not a house call for Logan Bryars right there.
Brings up a 3rd and 1. Just hand it off to Sutton here, right?
You would have to think.
The motion here, and it looks like that's what they'll do. First down, still on his feet. Wyatt Sutton has got 1 man to beat. Wyatt Sutton heads to the end zone. Touchdown.
Great play there by Wyatt Sutton. And you just see the athletic ability by Sutton. Boom, breaking through the second line, making Logan Bryars miss. What a great play there by Wyatt Sutton. He's just off to the races to put up to decrease the lead from to 8 here. See if they can get a crucial 2-point conversion to try to get the deficit down to 6.
Cowboys have only made one of 3 on 2-pointers. Tennessee Heat 0 for 1 thus far.
They're going to do the same formation there. I'm going to start calling this the Dallas Cowboys formation here.
And they send 10 out in motion.
Okay. Let's see what they're doing.
Quick toss
here.
right side, incomplete. You could see Coach Scott just throwing his hands up, wondering what's going on there. But 20-12 with 1:58 left to go in the first half. The Freedom Cowboys lead by 8, but the Tennessee Heat managed to respond. Just under 2 minutes left to go in the first half here of the 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship. A little bit of a bobbled ball there by Venter, and he returns it and loses the football, but it looked like it went out of bounds. Regardless, it was Logan Bryers who fell on it. Could have been dangerous if the Tennessee Heat had recovered it there in any capacity. But
very dangerous. Looks like the Heat kicking team stripped that right there. All right, you got a minute 51 here left. Looks like Bryars is walking off the field. So we're going to have I think a big 1 minute long dose of Jalen Venter here, Spence. If that's with his arm or if that's with his legs, I think we're going to get a heavy dose of Jalen Venter here.
And again, you've got 2 timeouts for the Tennessee Heat, so certainly they could try and stop the clock a couple of times and maybe get it back if they make a stand here, but it's tough against Jalen Venter whenever he carries the ball. Case in point, Venter going up for about 7 yards.
Yeah, if you're Freedom, you got to go, go, go. If you want to stretch this lead, you got a minute 40 and the clock is running. You got to get back to the line, get the play, and get going. And that's what they're doing right here. You got to get going to get up by 2 scores because the lead's only up to 8. So if you really want to push this lead, you got to move fast.
And flag's thrown. Get a false start for it to remain second down. About a second down and 6. And Venter again with the keeper, and that will bring it to a first down and 10 as he gets a positive gain on there. Looked like about 7 yards as the Freedom Cowboys will keep going with 60 seconds, but it'll wind once they get the chain set.
Yeah, this clock started running under a minute here. Great first down run there by Jalen Venter. You got to go. You got 50 seconds. We'll see what they're going to do here.
Here's Venter, and again, just the same plan for them, but continuing to run it, and Coach Collins will call his second timeout.
Timeout. Freedom.
Their second charge timeout of the half. And Freedom will have a chance to think it over with 41 seconds left on the clock. And you think about for the Freedom Cowboys, their passing game, again, on the season, really non-existent. It's very much they're a rush-heavy team. So with 41 seconds and only 1 timeout left to work with, it's not much you really would expect the Freedom Cowboys to do unless they have a fluke play of airing it out deep.
Yeah, unless Coach Collins can come up with a pass play that Venter feels comfortable with. I expect them to run the ball here, try to get a big play. But if not, if you get up to about a third and long, 4th and long, I would expect just to get out of the half. You're already up by 8 points. So if I'm Freedom, I would try to get a first down, maybe get a big play here. But if that doesn't happen, I would expect just to get out of the half and get a halftime and focus on what you're going to do in the second half. So I expect a big play here. If they don't get it, I expect them to just kind of run the clock out to the second half.
41 seconds and 1 timeout left for the Freedom Cowboys to work with. Again, the Tennessee Heat have 2 timeouts, so they certainly could try and stop it if they wanted to get the ball back with any time. Venter scrambles. He'll find some space in the middle and stretches out. He did get the ball was short of the line to gain, so they'll spot it about 3rd and 1, 3rd and inches, and final timeout called by Coach Collins.
Yeah, just having to get out of there.
That is their 3rd and timeout.
Yeah, Venter just trying to get out of there. You got a 3rd and short here. You got 31 seconds here. So I expect several shots to the end zone here, or at least close to the red zone, to see if they can get a score to stretch this lead.
Of course, it's also fortunate for the Tennessee Heat in that regard because they do not have – they have 2 timeouts. They haven't had to burn any of theirs to this point. So misplay, their best case scenario, incompletion. Worst case scenario, they have to use their timeout and only have 1 to try and march it down the field.
Yeah, and at the start of this game, we saw a heavy dose of Jalen Venter running the ball, but the Heat's been able to bounce back. So but with Freedom calling all these timeouts, you would expect they just want to get out because you know they're getting the ball to start the second half. But I think Coach Collins and his coaching staff might be up to something here, trying to stretch this lead. Looking like they're going to a bunch formation out here wide at the bottom of your screen. Looks like you're going to get a pass here from Jalen Venter.
Venter, no, he's going to keep it. It's a short gain. He gets past the 50-yard line and a 1st and 10.
All right, and they're going to go fast here. Great pickup there by Jalen Venter. Just a straight QB draw. Let's see if they got the clock's running. Looks like they're going to spike the ball with 20 seconds left to go. Great job. Great job getting to the ball, getting to the line of scrimmage, and spiking the ball there.
Yeah, you see on this kind of stuff, we talked about how the 2-minute drills aren't practiced much. You see Coach Collins on the sideline just going spike the ball and only losing 3 seconds on that. And it's also, of course, a benefit with high school of where, and now college is doing it within the final 2 minutes where they stop the clock to set the chains. But it's also the benefit there knowing that awareness, and now a 2nd and 10 inside the 50.
Yeah, usually when you get a big play like that in a 2-minute situation, your coach will call kill, which means just kill the ball, kill the clock, stop the clock. So let's see what they're going to do here. Looks like they got their own little stack formation here going with the pass.
Venter with a quick shot over to Henry Cooper. That's the catch made by the senior who gets it over, and down to, it is a 1st down, so they do stop the clock at 14 to set the chains, but you need another quick spike here at the line.
We were talking about at the beginning of the broadcast that the Heat, not the Heat, Freedom really were struggling at quarterback, but you're really seeing Venter take control of the offense on this 2-minute situation to potentially put them up by 2 scores. So great job by Jalen Venter. Now you got Venter and Bryles here in the backfield. Let's see what they're going to do. Maybe a little double pass here. Or you got two guys who play quarterback here. No, they're just going to go with a little slit.
Quick
right
toss, left side of the little slant. The LT Solly will get up and maybe the 1st down. My apologies on that last one. He got out of bounds to stop the clock, and they moved the chains. I believe he's at 1st down inbounds on this one, so a timeout called, I believe, by the Tennessee Heat. Actually, the officials are going to have a discussion here.
From the side, from up here, it looked like Coach Scott called a timeout. Let's see what's going to go on here.
The game clock did not start on the snap. Please set the game clock at 7 seconds. The clock will start on my whistle.
Good clarification there by Mike Walker, and they have to quickly go up to the line to spike it. There we go. There's 6 seconds.
All right, so with 6 seconds here, you're probably going to take 1 shot to the end zone. So let's see what Coach Collins and his offensive coaching staff can come up here.
Or maybe you get a 2nd shot if you don't like what you see on there, if you could quickly get it out in the area of a receiver.
I mean, with 6 seconds, you really don't have time to throw a medium or a short pass. You got to take it to the end zone. So let's see what Venter can come up here. All right, boys, we're here for a good finish to the 1st half. We'll see what they can come up with.
Freedom with an 8-point lead. They have not been down this entire game, looking to extend the lead back to 2 scores. Heat defense trying to prevent that since Freedom gets the ball to start the 2nd half.
Coming with a blitz
powering
here.
Through the middle, got him from the backside, and the catch is made across the middle. That is Logan Bryers trying to push towards the goal line, and he is going to be ruled plenty short, which is the best case scenario for the Tennessee Heat.
That is the end of the 1st half.
So 20-12 at halftime in the Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship of 2023, and so far a good first half, and doesn't seem like either team is out of it at this point.
No, I believe both teams are in it. Yes, Freedom gets the ball to start the second half, but both teams playing really well. We're in for an exciting second half here.
We'll be back in a few moments for coverage of the 2 quarters down, 2 more to go in the 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship. A little bit of a bobble there. That's the second time that's happened, but looks like he makes up for it as Venter gets a couple of good yards on the return there after bobbling the kickoff for the second time as the Cowboys will start out on offense. Spencer Tomset, Eli Cornett bringing you the action here from Columbia, Tennessee at Holcomb Field at Zion Christian Academy. 20-12, the Freedom Cowboys lead over the Tennessee Heat in what at first looked like the Cowboys could have run away with it, but the Tennessee Heat defense is certainly relentless.
Yeah, the Freedom offense scored quickly with 2 straight scores there in the first half, but Levi Ashburn and the Tennessee Heat struck right back, and it's been a kind of a back-and-forth game with the Tennessee defense making stands. So is Freedom. So let's see what we're going to have here in store for the second half.
And it seems the strategy that Coach Kyle Collins and company are very comfortable with is give it to Venter. Just keep it in his hands, have him running it up the middle, seeing what options he has. You have seen very few pass plays, and that's a big reason why it's only taken about an hour and 20 minutes for us to get to the start of the second half.
Yeah, because, I mean, what you're going to see here is from Freedom, they're a run team. So as many passes that they've thrown, it's been kind of surprising is that Coach Collins has trusted Venter to throw the ball. The other side, the Heat, they're known for throwing the ball, and they've only hit maybe 1 or 2 passes. So that's a little uncommon for the Freedom, for the Tennessee Heat. Looks like we got a flag here.
Several flags fly around, and a lot of those came from the backfield at secondary. So we'll hear again from Mike Walker.
During the run, personal foul, face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Now, Mike Walker was talking about his pregame. He's officiated around the TSIAA, was doing the SEEC games and TSSAA, and he was mentioning he was out completely all of last year, blew out his knee when he was running down from a play and had to sit out the entirety of 2022, but back in the saddle and back in the conference championship. And he mentioning that the Middle Tennessee Officials Association it's like timeout called by the Tennessee Heat, mentioning that the MTFOA, Middle Tennessee Football Officials Association, is doing very well. Numbers are doing all right. It's still, he's also mentioning, I'm sure you know about this with the TSSAA, they regulated that all teams have to play at least 1 game on Thursday, and the TSSAA decides those games. He said they have about, I think, 230, 250 officials. It's nowhere near enough for the entirety of the TSSAA.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Walker on getting back to the conference championship after blowing out his knee. So far, cleanly officiated game. Haven't had any major issues thus far. Knock on wood, as they say.
Yeah, knock on wood. But it's been a very clean game played by both teams here today. Officials been right on top of everything. So great job today by Mike Walker and his crew today.
Venter carrying it again and avoiding so many tackles as he usually does. It looked like he had several stiff arms on there. Gained 5.
Yeah, great play there, right there. Looks like just a QB keep reading off the motion right there. A few stiff arms right there, getting outside, making a couple men miss. So great job setting up a 2nd and 5 here for the Freedom Cowboys. And the timeout that was just taken by Coach Scott, he's probably telling his guys to settle down. It's still a 1-score game. All right, the game's not out of hand yet. We're still in it. We have a chance. We've been in this situation several times this year. Calm his defense down and make a play and hopefully get off the field here on this current offensive drive for the Freedom Cowboys.
And you just hope that timeout doesn't come back to haunt them as they get deeper into the second half. There's Logan Bryers go up for a gain of about 3 yards.
Yeah, just a straight keep there. Looks like they put Bryers. He was split out in the stack right there. Motion orbit sweep right there for the Freedom Cowboys. Bryers, great job keeping his legs churning to get to a 3rd and manageable here. All right, I expect another dose of Jalen Venter here. You got a 3rd and short. He's been unstoppable all day. Let's see, you got Bryers and Venter in the backfield, so one of them is probably going to get the ball, but I'm about 95% sure Venter's going to get the ball here.
Well, who else? Carrying up the middle than Venter. Several flags fly. Potentially a face mask. We saw that earlier.
Venter's getting up a little bit slow here.
During the run, personal foul, face mask, number 76 on the defense. The 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Make that 2 face masks on a row that have extended this drive for the Freedom Cowboys.
And those are 2 key. You wanted to come out in the second half and potentially get a stop, but now with those 2 costly penalties, you're setting up the Freedom Cowboys here inside the 30-yard line. So you got to settle down. You took that time out to settle down. You got to play Tennessee Heat football. You play great defense. You play great offense. You got to settle down and get right back into this game. You don't need to get down by 2 scores.
And you've got several players on the secondary who have made interceptions throughout the year. You wonder when they'll try to get something going. The problem is they can't do that because there's not really any passes going on. You have a few of them that have fumble recoveries and cause fumbles. They got to try to do either the peanut punch or try to get those wedges in between, because that's really what's going to benefit the Tennessee Heat here. Right now, Freedom's just controlling the tempo.
Yeah, when you have Jalen Venter on your team, you're not going to throw the ball. You're just not. You got a heavy dose of Jalen Venter. You also got Logan Bryce. So you're not going to throw the ball, but like you said, you got to do the peanut punch. You got to try to strip that ball out to give you any chance to get the ball back in this situation on this drive. Probably another second and long, probably another dose of Jalen Venter here. You got, looks like we got a false start here.
Prior to the snap, false start off number 31. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Detrimental penalty this time for Freedom Cowboys, at least. Only moves them back about 5 yards. They go outside of the red zone.
All right, looks like second 15 here. Probably another run to set them up for a good third down and manageable.
Who else but Venter? Gives it to the left side. Venter gets free, diving for the pylon. Just short.
All right, let's take a look at the replay here. Great play by Jalen Venter. Just straight keep going around the outside there. Made it a couple men miss. Great job. Great effort. Oh, he might have gotten that ball across if we had a replay review. That might have been a touchdown there, but you couldn't see right there. Maybe his foot touched out of bounds. But great effort there by Jalen Venter, showing everybody what he can do. His full skill set, Jalen Venter's full skill set's been on display all day today, what he's been doing all season. Great play there by Jalen Venter.
Maybe if you had a sideline camera, you could go. And there's Venter. Easy walk-in, touchdown, Freedom.
Great play there, just straight quarterback power right there, Jalen Venter. He's been doing it all afternoon. I believe Jalen Venter scored all 4 touchdowns for the Freedom Cowboys today. All on the ground, so great job by Jalen Venter. Let's see if they can get this 2-point conversion here. And if you're the Heat defense, you're not quite out of it yet. You're still down by 2 scores. You got a lot of time left. You got 7:48 in the third quarter, and you have a whole nother quarter to play in the fourth quarter. So if you're the Heat, don't get down quite just yet. You got a great offense. You got a great quarterback in Luke Matthews. So see what they're going to do here on this next offensive drive as Venter just walks in here.
Just easy walk-in for Venter. A 14-point lead for the Freedom Cowboys over the Tennessee Heat with 7:49 left to go in the third quarter of the 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship. (28-12), 7:49 left to go in the third quarter as the Freedom Cowboys boot it deep in. It'll be a free kick out of bounds.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 Heat.
Another example that's been a challenge today for the Freedom Cowboys on the kicking game of keeping the ball in bounds. And it certainly benefits the Heat offense, but haven't been able to capitalize on these opportunities they've been given aside from the 2 scores.
They haven't. The only times they've capitalized has been on those kicked out of bounds. They've not had a great drive moving down the field. They've been set up pretty well. See what they can do here with Wyatt Sutton getting the ball.
Wyatt Sutton to the outside. He breaks the tackle. Wyatt Sutton tiptoeing the sideline, gets across midfield. It'll actually stop him just shy of it at the 49-yard line.
Good
But Wyatt Sutton trying to get a spark here.
Good play by Wyatt Sutton, bouncing it outside. Just a foot race right down the sideline there. Great play by Wyatt Sutton, getting a good gain of yards right there. Looks like we got a first down and 10 at the 49. At the Heat 49, let's see if they can come up with here. I expect another handoff here to Wyatt Sutton.
As we mentioned, Wyatt Sutton, all-conference running back for SEEC, 619 yards coming into the day, and has 14 rushing touchdowns throughout the season, and the semifinal win against the Sacred Heart, 41-6. Matthews is going to air it out deep on the right side in coverage. Clean play there, incomplete. It's good coverage there by Aiden Bayerlin, and incomplete pass there. I believe Sutton was also the intended target.
And here's what's happening if we can get the replay here in a second. The Freedom DBs, I believe, from what I've seen, they've been pressing these Heat receivers. And that's not what that doesn't allow the Heat receivers to create any space to go get the ball. So great job by the Freedom defensive coaching staff here to not allow the receivers to get any separation from the DB to allow them to catch the ball. So great defensive game plan here because the Heat has been able to throw the ball downfield all year. So great adjustments made by the Freedom defensive staff. Going with the stack here at the bottom, probably another pass here.
Matthews, under pressure, gets the short pass off, and a good amount of open space, made something of nothing as Wyatt Sutton goes to about the 32-yard line.
Great play there, just like a little dunk across the middle. Great play. You want to get your players out in open space. And Wyatt Sutton's one of those guys. You got to get him out in open space there. Just look at him, just being patient with it. Weaving in and out of tackles. Great job. Great job getting your players in open space. Great job, Coach Scott and that Heat coaching staff.
Brings him to the 33-yard line in Cowboys territory. As you've seen the coach that there, Coach Ryan Scott. Been with the Tennessee Heat program for a number of years. Essentially revived the program when they had to co-op with Hendersonville Christian in 16, and then 2017 started back. Been going ever since with Ryan Scott at the helm. That's a carry up the middle by Luke Luchtefeld, who's also had a relatively quiet game today. Call him lucky as the trend goes with the Tennessee Heat, and hasn't been as active as he's been on the rest of the season.
Hasn't been as active today. You've seen a heavy dose of Ashburn and Sutton, but Luchtefeld, another great player, following the footsteps of his brother Aiden Luchtefeld, who I believe is here today. So great job there by the Heat, picking up a chunk of yards, setting up 2nd and 5.
2nd and 5. Matthews, look at the catch and run there. You'll see on the replay a little bit the clean shove off in coverage. That was Berlin, and catch made there, I believe, by Sutton again.
Yeah, finally a good pass. Matthews able to set his feet. Still a little bit high, but great job to come down with that ball. Setting up a 3rd and short here. You got about 5-6 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. You got to get a touchdown here to be able to stay in the game. Game's not over yet, but you got to keep your offense on the field here to potentially make this a 1-score game. So let's see what Matthews and the offense can come up here with this third down and short. I expect probably, I believe Wyatt Sutton's in the backfield. See the motion coming out here, probably. Here we go.
As they'll hand it off up the middle, and they'll get the first down. I do want to notate Levi Ashburn was the one who made the catch on the last play because he came out, and in was Wyatt Sutton. So making a good catch in coverage there to set up the 3rd and short, and then an easy run up the middle to move the chains inside the 25.
And one thing they're doing here is they're running the ball. They're taking the short stuff. They're trying to get the clock to run down. They don't want Jalen Venter to get back onto the field because Venter's been able to drive the ball right down the field with his legs. So they're trying to take the time off the clock. So great job, great clock management by Coach Scott here with his offense.
Again, we were talking about the tempo that the Freedom Cowboys are controlling. So the Heat, pretty much every drive they have to score out here if they want to have that. It's a flea flicker in essence. Matthews doesn't fool the Freedom Cowboys defense. A great tackle by Sam Trotter.
Yeah, if you just look here, Matthews put Ashburn in motion right here. He's fake pitch going back to his right. Looked like he had a hitch route on the other side. So great job by the defensive line of Freedom to get that sack right there, set up a 2nd and long. Going with the stack look to the bottom. Expect another pass here by Matthews.
2nd and
Going to an empty set.
about 17. Right side catch made. Trying to tiptoe the sideline again is Sutton. Not going to get much of anywhere. Brings up about a 3rd and 13.
That's a good play call, motioning out the running back to an empty stack look. Just a quick screen right there to got to get a chunk of yards to get to a 3rd and manageable. You're still at a 3rd and about 14, so you got to take another shot if you want to stay in this game. So let's see what the Heat can do here. Obviously, this probably most definitely we're going to be 4-down territory here for the Heat offense. So see what they can do here. Probably maybe another chunk play to see if they can get a good 4th down situation here.
Third and 15. Here's the chance of defense as Matthews is going to air it out up top. He overthrew his target. That was intended for Sutton, and unfortunately that's been the story of the game for Matthews on the passing side.
He just hasn't looked comfortable in the pocket here. Again, he's throwing it off. I mean, good footwork right there. Just a little, he just put a little too much on it. So, and that's been the story of the game. Like you just said, a lot of overthrown balls today. Matthews does not look comfortable like he usually does in the pocket. He's just got to settle down, make those throws. He's been making those throws all season long. He's just got to settle down and take the easy stuff right there.
4th and 15, the Heat will go for it here. 3:14 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
You can hear this Freedom crowd getting ramped up right here.
Matthews is going to air it out again towards the end zone, looking for the option, and it goes out of bounds. Not even catchable there, and a turnover on downs.
And again, another overthrow by Luke Matthews here. See, they set the motion again. Doesn't full Freedom. They still got a 4-man rush. Just sails it right out of bounds.
The number 6 seed on the national rankings, potentially an upset alert for number 13 on the rankings for the NHSA. Freedom Cowboys defending their conference championship for the Southeastern Extreme Conference, and maybe we'll see potential repeat. We had it last night with Russell Christian in overtime. Still plenty of football to play on the 1st and 10.
And if you're Coach Collins, you got to be thrilled to be in this situation right now. A couple weeks ago, you got absolutely destroyed by the Heat a couple weeks ago. So if you're Coach Collins, you got to be thrilled about the situation you're in. You're up by 2 scores. The clock's on your side. You got Jalen Victor. You got Logan Bryce. You can just run this clock out for the 3rd quarter and head to the 4th quarter with a 2-score lead, potentially to make it a 3-score lead.
Bram Day on the carry there for about a gain of 2 yards on the 2nd and 8.
Yeah, if you're Freedom, you want to take your time, put the ball in Jalen Victor, Logan Bryer's hands, wear down this Tennessee Heat defense. See what they're going to do here with the motion. Looks like Jalen Victor's going to keep it again.
Yeah, he'll keep it up the middle and brought down by several Heat defenders. Gets a gain to about the 35-yard line, about 3 yards short.
And again, that's what you want. You want to put the ball in Jalen Victor's hands to get down, get a few chunky yards. See, they're in a 3rd and short situation right here. Again, no rush, taking your time. Put the ball in your playmaker's hands. Let him do what he does and what he's been doing all year to set yourself up for success.
About a 3rd and 3. Freedom again controlling the tempo. Venter, left side. He'll be stopped short of 4th and out. We haven't seen that in a while from the Tennessee Heat defense. A much-needed stop.
A much-needed stop. You see Venter's slow to get up. I mean, it's 4th down, so if I'm Coach Collins, I want to punt this ball away. I mean, your defense has been playing outstanding all day, so I wouldn't risk going for it and giving the Heat the ball on your side of the field. So if I'm Coach Collins, I'd punt this ball away here. Looks like they may go for it. Freedom's known to do some quick kicks, so let's see what they're going to do here.
And this is on a 4th and 4. Venter and movement.
Looks like they're trying to draw him off sides, and
they got him.
They got it.
They got a flag there.
Oh, it looks like it might have been a false start.
Timeout. Freedom.
Freedom
Call
called the
timeout.
timeout. Freedom managed to get the timeout called before the penalty happened, and that
They just moved the ball back, so I don't.
Correct. There's delay of the game. The offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
there we go. So no timeout. It was a delay of game, and that's why you saw the Tennessee Heat jump off a little bit because they could see the play clock winding down. And
So good stop there by the Heat. You needed that stop, so let's see if they can get something here. Coming after that punt.
it was a high up punt, and lucky bounce that goes all the way down to the 39-yard line. And we'll see if the Tennessee Heat could get a score here. They'll start to march it down from the 38-yard line in their own territory.
All right, so the story of this game has been at the line of scrimmage, like we said at the beginning of the broadcast. The both lines. And what's been very underrated this game is the Freedom offensive line. They've been moving the Tennessee defensive line at will today. So let's see if the Heat can come up with something. And also Luke Matthews, he's been great all year. Trust in your skill set. Trust in your arms. Trust your feet. You've been doing this all year. Now's your moment. Now's your moment to make the comeback. Let's see what you can do here, kid.
Handoff up the middle. Gain of about a yard or two. That was Sutton on the carry. Gain of 1 yard for a 2nd and 9.
Looks like Levi Ashburn is coming back into the game.
Giving a little bit of a rest to Elijah Eakin, the freshman.
Elijah Eakin's another guy that's been very quiet. He's been a very good weapon for the Tennessee Heat. He's been very quiet today. So let's see if they can get him involved later in the game.
They get the snap off at the end of the 3rd quarter, and a great catch to end it there. I believe Graham Russell, the sophomore, made the reception, and that does move the chains, and that won't have to move too far with the swapping
That is
both
the
sides.
end of the 3rd period.
And that's what you want. That's what you want out of your quarterback. Great job. Really poised play right there by Luke Matthews.
12 minutes remain to determine who will be the champion for the 2023 season for the Southeastern Extreme Conference, and we have it for you on the other side of the break here on 8-Man Extreme. Started the 4th quarter in the 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference Football Championship. 1st and 10, Tennessee Heat driving, trying to make this a one-score game. Matthews with a quick dump off, incomplete, intended for Sutton.
Freedom there doing what they do all year. They're bringing 4 men. They may bring it from the defensive line. They may bring the extra linebacker. That's what you want. They've rattled Matthews all day. That's what Clint Collins does. That's bread and butter on defense. He brings 4 to 5 guys every single play, and you can't stop it. No matter what you can do, you can't stop it. In our game a couple weeks ago, we had 4 men down the line, and we had a running back, and we still couldn't stop it. So great job there by Coach Collins. That's what he's been doing throughout his whole tenure here at the Freedom Cowboys.
On a 2nd and 10, Matthews will opt to just hand it off. And Sutton gets a gain of about 4 yards. Spencer Tomshead, Eli Cornett bringing you the action from Holcomb Field at Zion Christian Academy in Columbia, Tennessee. 2nd year of existence for the Southeastern Extreme Conference and their 2nd conference championship, both times being hosted here in Columbia. It looks like we have a flag down.
Illegal formation. Too many men in the backfield at the snap. 5-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
They just can't keep making these mistakes.
No, they can't. It's a cost of penalty. It's now 2nd and very long. 2nd and looks like 15. Not what you wanted here if you're the Heat offense. Looks like they're coming after him, Graham. They're bringing 4.
Trying to pressure Matthews again. He's going to air it out on the right side, intended for his tight end. Almost made the catch, did Graham Russell in coverage. Clean defensive maneuver by the cornerback there. That was Eli Carr in coverage.
Yeah, if you look here, he kind of slows down. He slows down, and he loses track of the ball. Great effort there by the receiver there, but he loses track of the ball, and the DB is right there in his face. Great defense right there by the Freedom DB. Man, the Heat just cannot catch a break today, Spence. Going with a stack look at the top of your screen. Expect another pass, 3rd and 15. Let's see what Luke Matthews can do here. Going with that bunch look.
Yeah, they had one of the
wheel.
players in motion, and Matthews, what else can he do? That defense just standing strong.
You got 4 dudes right in your face. They're coming right before the line can get out of their stance. And that's what Coach Collins is known for. Bringing 4, bringing 5. He's either going to show it or he's going to disguise it. No matter what, you can't stop it. So great job there by Coach Collins and his boys, the Freedom Cowboys.
We are very much on upset alert, and you almost think, and timeout.
Timeout. Heat.
It's Burns their 2nd timeout of the half at an interesting time. 10:58 left to go in the 4th quarter, and you almost feel like on that drive the Tennessee Heat needed to score. Certainly that's going to be the case on any drives they have going forward, or their defense needs to have some sort of big interception or big fumble recovery.
Now is when you start getting desperate. You're down by 2 scores. So I would try. It's a tough situation to be in as a coach. You're down 2 scores. It's 4th and long. Venter in the offense has just been running it down your throat all day. So it's a big decision here by Coach Scott. Looks like he may send the offense back on the field. Looks like, oh no, they're going to punt it away. Well, you're the Tennessee defense. You got to rise up here. Or Coach Scott is known for his fakes. Might be a fake. You just saw that quick little huddle there. Let's see if Coach Scott is going to pull something out of his bag of tricks.
And they are bringing in Caius Schroeder, the 8th grader, and that's a high snap, and it looks like they will punt it away. It's a long distance for them to try and recover if they had gone for the fake punt anyways, and this will go down to about the 33-yard line, and the Freedom Cowboys offense will get back to work. And this Tennessee Heat defense just has not had an answer, allowing 28 points on the day.
And that's the biggest thing. I mean, Jalen Venter has been a big part of it, but this Freedom offensive line, they've not allowed the Tennessee defensive line to get through. They've been doing a great job. They're holding their blocks. They're down blocking really well. They're moving. They're literally a big wall. Like at the University of Kentucky, they call their offensive line the big blue wall. That's exactly what's happening here with the Freedom Cowboys. They're just moving that Heat defensive line and those linebackers are out of the way to clear big gaps for Jalen Venter.
And Jalen Venter will carry it again, and a tackle made, a first initial contact there by the Heat defender. That was Luke Matthews making the tackle. It's still a gain of 6 yards.
On this replay, it even looks like Venter's not even running full speed. He's not even running full speed because if you would think if Venter was running full speed every play, it'd be a house call every time. House call every time. So let's see what they come up here.
On his 2nd and 5, Venter is going to keep the ball again. He's going to be forced out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Makes it a 3rd and 3.
All right, if you're the Heat defense here, you know where the ball's going. It's going to number 9. So you got a key number 9. Those linebackers have got a key number 9. They don't need the motion's just coming to fake you out. You don't want that motion to draw you out of position here and get you out of your assignment. You got a key number 9. You got a key number 9. Where you got to watch those guards. Where those guards are going, that's where the ball is headed. And that's where number 9 is going to go. And that's where these Heat linebackers got to flow to.
Venter again. You have to think he's going to be the most valuable player if the Cowboys end up winning this.
With these, Venter's down. He's slow to get
And
up.
that is not good if he's hobbling as well.
Looks like he might just be cramping there, but looks like they're going to pop him out, and Breyer's just going to come back in. But yeah, you got to think he's going to be the most valuable player. He's scored all of Freedom's points. He's controlled the game on arguably both sides of the ball. He's been doing a great job. So let's see if Breyers can finish this off for him.
And up the middle, Breyers. Gain of about 4. Again, now you have to start thinking about the clock because, again, the Tennessee Heat, they burned 2 of their timeouts early on. One of them really within the first 2 minutes of the 3rd quarter.
And like you just said, you thought that might come back to haunt Coach Scott. And in this situation, it is because it's 9 minutes left to go. You got an offense that is moving your defense at will, running the ball. So you got to think he would like to have those 2 timeouts back.
And then we'll hand this off. And it looks like the first down game. There are several flags down. That was Bram Day on the carry.
Personal foul, smack. Defense number 76. 15 yards will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Make that 3 face masks on the day for this Tennessee Heat secondary.
And that's been another big story of this game. Costly penalties by the Heat defense. They can't seem to get off the field. And the few times they have been able to get off the field, it's been a clean drive for them. No penalties, no mistakes. But every single time they make a mistake like that, the Freedom offense seems to capitalize on it. So let's see if Freedom can capitalize right here.
1st and 10 from the 25. They'll hand this off again. Bram Day with the carry. Time is of the essence right now. This Heat defense has just allowed a huge chunk of time to be consumed, almost about 2-3 minutes of game time for the Freedom Cowboys on this drive.
You see Venter coming back in the ball game, so you got to expect him to get the ball right here. You're the Freedom defense. You're starting to get desperate. If I'm Coach Scott, I would sell out against number 9. Get through there, hit him in the backfield. As you see, he's getting loose right here.
Yeah, Venter on the outside. Anytime he's got open space, he's just going to run over the defense and gets for about 2 yards short of the line to gain. So a 3rd down and about a 3rd down and 1 coming up.
If you see on this replay, those Freedom linebackers, they're not shooting those gaps. Once you get to your assigned gap, they're stopping. You got to shoot right through that gap, break down to make the tackle. They're stopping right before they get to those gaps, and that's what's causing Venter to break loose. You got to fill those gaps. You got to be patient and play disciplined football, and maintain those gaps, and that's not what's happening with the Tennessee Heat defense.
And Venter again on the keeper. Looks like he will be stopped at the line of scrimmage for a 4th and 1. course, deep in Heat territory, you'll see Freedom go for it, but at least a sign of life on the stop there for this Heat defense. And you see a little bit of a hobble from one of the Cowboy players. That is LT Solly, who's also been named. He's seeming to hobble a little bit as well.
Looks like he's going to stay in there, though. And that just shows you the toughness of this Freedom Cowboys team. Every time they get knocked down, it's a very resilient team that Coach Collins has here, and it's on display right now with Sully staying in the game.
4th and 1. Venter up the middle. You got it.
You got it, yeah. All right, clock winding. Looks like we might have a 2-time champion here, Spencer.
Might have back-to-back champions unless the Heat can get a turnover or make a stop here. Again, you just think again about the amount of clock that's being chewed up by the Freedom Cowboys.
I think on this drive alone, they've chewed up about 4 minutes. They've gone probably 4 minutes, they've probably gone 40 yards. So if you're the Heat defense, you need to turn over here. You need to start to strip the ball away from Jalen Venter.
There's the handoff right side. Logan Byers going in. And a flag deep from the backfield as gain of about 5 or 6 yards happened there. Another face mask.
Yeah, another costly penalty for the Tennessee defense. You got to be more disciplined than that. You've had 4 face masks, all that have cost you points.
That's to the right side. Logan Byers again.
Oh,
Still
he's
on his
up.
feet. Avoided tackles. He lost the football. Fell back on it. Well, a caused fumble made by the Heat, but they can't capitalize on the turnover.
And again, great effort there by Logan Byers. But if you're in a situation like that with the clock on your side, you just go down. You don't risk turning the ball over right there. You just go down. You get the clocks on your side. You get 5 minutes and winding. You don't make a play like that. But I mean, great effort right there. But you just want to go down and keep the ball. You just want to keep the ball there.
Makes it for a 2nd and goal on the 17-yard line. And Venter has to jump over one of the defenders. Gets back to about the 13.
Yeah, they're going to start to wind the clock here. You see that jet motion. He just follows it with that lead block right there, able to get outside, cut back inside, and pick up a few good yards there. Looks like it is 3rd down and goal right at the 13, I believe, Spence.
Yeah, long 3rd down and goal.
Even if the Heat get a stop here, you got probably going to have the ball with under 3 minutes, so you got to score quickly. You got the onside kick, and you got to drive down the field again. So let's see if the Heat can come up with maybe a turnover here to create a little bit of a spark. See if they can come back in.
We've seen them do quick scores before, but the challenge is they have to get the stop here as Venter looks like he's going to pass and down. Looked like that was a good catch by Jonathan Callan and got the catch inside of the 10-yard line, but a 4th and goal on the 8.
Risky play call there because you're running the ball at will. You don't want to have a chance to stop the clock because the clock's on your side. But, I mean, great job, great completion there by Jalen Venter. You got a 4th down. And even if you don't score here, the Heat have to drive almost the length of the field. So if you're Coach Collins, you're feeling pretty good, and you're already picturing holding up that championship trophy.
Fourth down inside the 10, a bobbled ball by Venter. He keeps the ball heading to the edge, trying to get to the pylon, waiting for the signal. Touchdown, Freedom.
And that's what Jalen Venter has been doing all afternoon. Look at this, just a zone read. Fumbles the ball, and he still is able to get to the outside and get in for a well-earned touchdown. Looks like we just found our MVP of the game, Spence.
2-point conversion attempt coming up, a 22-point lead right now for the Freedom Cowboys, and more than likely sealing the deal there with 3:11 left to go in regulation.
Let's see what they're going to do here. Going for 2 here. Jalen Venter, yeah, it's just going to be a keep here.
And breaks the play into the goal line. 36-12, the Freedom Cowboys have held the Tennessee Heat to no score in the second half and are 3:11 away from winning their second straight SEEC championship. .3:11 left to go in regulation in this conference championship game as this ball will go back to the end zone. You know, and it looks like a little bit of pushing back and forth between several of the players.
Oh, man. You got a little bit of frustration going on out there. Keep your composure. You don't want to lose your cool there. We've had a clean game up to this point. You don't want to lose your composure here.
And we'll see if the Tennessee Heat can at least get some sort of score here. It's huge mountain to climb if they want to make it back, but likely in this situation, you're thinking about just deep shots at this point.
Yeah, deep shots. Try to get into the end zone. You're down by,
24.
24, so that's 3 scores and 2-point conversion. So, yeah, I would just try to get your QB some confidence going into next year, trying to get some deep shots down the field, complete some easy passes. You just want to try to make this score a little bit closer.
Quick out on the left side to the 25, and Heat will hurry up on their offensive scheme after a gain of 5. Matthews, mishandled snap, air it out on the right side, and that goes out of bounds. Incomplete.
That could have been a pass interference call. It looked like Bryars jumped a little bit early there, but yeah, you just see it's just a straight fade down the sideline there to, I believe that was Eli Ashburn. Could have been a little bit early, but again, Matthews throwing those fade routes out of bounds. I don't know if it's the receivers running too close to the sideline or if he's just leading them there, but I mean, he's been a little off today, Spence.
It's definitely seemed like an off day for this Tennessee Heat offense. And again, the only loss in 8-man football in the year was the Lighthouse Homeschool on the road. They had a tougher 11-man football schedule. This is aired out, and it's almost picked off. Almost an interception by Aiden Berlin.
Yeah, great coverage right there. Let's see the replay. Berlin, great job. Great job staying in phase, getting the head turned around and playing the ball. Great job there by that Freedom DB. Great job. That's textbook DB play, something that you look for in a DB every practice. Or might I say just every DB in general. That's how you play the ball right there.
To finish that thought I was talking about, 3 losses of their 4 were of 11-man games. Coach Scott was telling me about that, how they had a tougher schedule against the 11-man teams, trying to measure what their team was capable of. Matthews across and an incomplete pass, and their only loss was to Lighthouse Homeschool. And this just completely flips the script from earlier in the season. Again, 46-14 in Mount Juliet, and you just look at it, and it looks like Coach Collins had a better game plan, and it's between that and the Tennessee Heat really looked off today on the offensive side.
I don't even think that it's Tennessee Heat looked off. Yes, Matthews had a lot of overthrown balls, but I think Coach Collins made the right adjustments. He made the right adjustments as a defense. He learned from the mistakes they made in the first meeting, and today he comes back, and it just looks like the Freedom team of old when it comes to that defense, and it has really brought the Heat back down to where they are.
And this will be carried by Bram Day. There's a turnover on downs, and looks like they will just run it out until they could get to victory formation. And you think about the struggles that the Freedom Cowboys have had on the year. 5-5 overall. Their only loss within conference was to the Tennessee Heat. They were the number 1 seed in the West. They had their victory against Tri-Cities in the semi, and get 13 seed in the NHSA rankings. The Heat are 6. Those rankings are definitely going to change after this game.
Yes, absolutely. And it shows you how good of a coach Coach Collins is. Because when you lose guys like T.J. Lorio, you lose guys like Oliver Johnson, he always seems to find a way to bring those guys back, bring new kids in. And it just speaks to volumes about how good of a coaching staff this is. To start the season off not going your way and then come back, fight through the first round, beating Tri-Cities, and coming back and winning your second straight championship in the SEEC conference just speaks volumes about how good this team is. And when it comes, and as you know, we're looking towards next year, both these teams are bringing almost everybody back. It's going to be the same. It's going to be close.
And
to
I
bring all these guys back.
believe Coach Collins, with them having all 3 of their timeouts, is just waiting until the last second to call timeout. And you also think about, they'll go ahead and snap it here. But you also think about, you mentioned the guys that they lost there. Here's Bram Day trying to go up the middle, and he'll be brought down. Like T.J. Lorio, Raymond Hunt, such star players that always end up coming out of Freedom Cowboys program. And being able to reload and reboot it's a challenge, especially when you have both of these teams are primarily homeschool programs, being in players, and to keep up the motivation and to have a winning culture gets difficult. And Coach Collins, he mentioned they have some off years, and this is an off year, but for them to win a conference championship despite all of that is very special.
It's very special, and it's a great job by Freedom, able to take the knee here and come away with their second straight SEEC championship. So what a great job today by the Freedom Cowboys.
The Tennessee Heat, number 6 seed on the national rankings, number 1 seed in the North, gets upset by the number 13 nationally ranked team, Freedom Cowboys, and the number 1 seed in the South. The Freedom Cowboys successfully defend their conference championship, and now the question marks of who's going to Florida. We'll find out probably on Sunday from the NHSA. But for now, the 2023 conference champions are the Freedom Cowboys. We're going to head down to the field in a few moments for the prize presentations to honor the all-conference players for SEEC, as well as the most valuable player of the championship contest and the trophy presentations. We'll be back in a few moments here. Don't go away.
Let's give Zion Christian Academy a big hand for putting this game on today. They did an amazing job. Very thankful for them. I want to thank all of you for coming out today. Obviously, for those of you who were here last year, you know the weather is so much better today. So very thankful for that. I would like to give a big thank you to Spencer Thompson, Eli Burnett, and Trey for running the broadcast. That's really awesome of them. I appreciate it. And as I did last year, I would like to give a big thank you to all the coaches in this conference. It's been a blast this year, and it's been a fun season and another successful season. So, without further ado, I would be amiss if I broke the streak. I'm gonna look at that camera right there. Your champion won't play our champion. All right. So, anyways, Spencer, where you at? There you are. Hey, come on to Florida.
Thank you, Commish. All right, time to hand out some hardware for the 2023 All-Southeastern Extreme Conference team. We'll start with the All-Conference quarterback from the Tennessee Heat, Luke Matthews. All-Conference running backs from the Freedom Cowboys, Jalen Venter. And from the Tennessee Heat, Wyatt Sutton. Your all-conference wide receivers from Franklin Classical School, Oak Cartree. And from the Tennessee Heat, Dustin Danilitis. Your all-conference tight end from Sacred Heart of Jesus High School, Henry Chabot. Your all-conference offensive lineman from Tri-Cities, Chance Hawkins. From the Freedom Cowboys, Elijah Brown. From Franklin Classical School, correction, from the Tennessee Heat, offensive lineman Jeremiah Curtis. Now your all-conference defensive lineman from Tri-Cities Christian, Preston Holmes. From Franklin Classical School, Riley Costello. And from the Tennessee Heat, Jake Wogan. Your all-conference defensive backs from Franklin Classical School, Josh Jackson. From the Freedom Cowboys, Eli Carr. And from Zion Christian Academy, Riley Heitzman. Your all-conference kicker punter from the Freedom Cowboys, Aiden Berlin. And your all-conference kick returner, punt returner from Franklin Classical School, DeMarcus Naugler. Your all-conference linebackers from Tri-Cities Christian, Brady Boskin. And from the Tennessee Heat, Nate Williams. One more time, your 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference All-Stars. We next want to give a great congratulations to the runner-up for the 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship, the Tennessee Heat. And now your most valuable player for the 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship from the Freedom Cowboys, Jalen Venter. And now, for the second straight year in a row, your 2023 Southeastern Extreme Conference champions from Huntsville, Alabama, the Freedom Cowboys. So we're now here with the most valuable player of the Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship, Jalen Venter. You know, Jalen, it was such a challenge through this game, the Heat driving down and making scores, but this whole season has been a roller coaster for you and the Freedom Cowboys. How would you describe this season in words?
The season started out for me. I was in high hopes, had a great running back, great quarterback. Sadly, they weren't here to play. They were injured. But I feel like we were the underdogs the whole season. Like me, myself, I came from third-string quarterback all the way up to starting, all the way here. And I just want to thank my team, coaches, and fans for allowing me to come here and win this for them.
And we saw you hobble out to the sideline and then come back in later on a couple of drives. How challenging was that for you to be able to push through and come back?
Not very hard. I just want to, first of all, play for my teammates because I know they do the same for me. And I know you won't want me to do this, but shout out to my dad and mom. They got me this DNA to keep pushing myself every day.
Your 2023 most valuable player. Congratulations, Jalen. Coach. You know, Coach, you've seen a lot over the years leading the helm of the Freedom Cowboys, and you told me before the game this has been a challenging season with the injuries, and Jalen mentioned it, going from third string to first string, and everything that led up to this point. How special is it for you?
Well, first, I want to thank Jalen's mom and dad for their DNA also. It has been a challenging year. You know, I'm a pretty good coach when I got great players. This year, we were young, got a lot of injuries, trying to figure the pieces out. And be honest with you, we hadn't played a complete game until today. And it was the right time to put it together, but it has been challenging.
And, of course, the regular season matchup was vastly different against the Tennessee Heat in Mount Juliet. What did you learn from that game heading into the championship?
I learned that they were better coaches and had better players, and ran better schemes than we did. And I spent the last I told them this, I spent the last 2 weeks just watching the film over and over and trying to come up with a plan. But the plan's the plan. You got to have players. And when the kids played with the heart they did today, and Ryan will tell you, I mean, it's always a battle with them. I knew these guys were going to be tough, and they were, but today our kids just played with their hearts. They weren't worried about anything except playing with their hearts, and they played for each other. So it turned out good. That's good.
And certainly we've seen the Freedom Cowboys on most years head down to Florida with the challenges you've had, but to cap off winning the conference championship, is there any chance we see the Freedom Cowboys head to Panama City Beach next week?
We're not going to Panama City this year, but Panama City was all we had for years and years and years. Now that we're in this conference, this is the type of year that you want a conference championship. These kids deserve the opportunity to play for something, and we did today.
Well, congratulations, Coach. You're two-time SEC, SEEC champions, the Freedom Cowboys.